Woo! Hey y'all, long time no talk to. Well, welcome to the podcast. My name is Nina, and I am known as the Natural Needler across social media. I have a blog at thenaturalneedler.com, which sometimes I do some blog posts, but mainly it's been show notes. Let me take some breaths before I get overly excited. And let's see, I have a blog at thenaturalneedler.com. You can find me on Instagram as the Natural Needler. Just the Natural Needler. On Instagram, on Ravelry, on Twitter, on Facebook, which I have a Facebook, but I haven't been doing anything on there. And Pinterest, I got a couple of pins, but nothing major. So basically, you can find me as a Natural Needler or Natural Needler at most places. Well, it's been a long time since I talked to you guys, so let me jump into it. Y'all are catching me when I'm all slightly coiffed for the day. Usually I talk to y'all earlier before I've done anything, but I've been wanting to do an episode, and you know, things have just been going over here. So I figured let me go ahead and do this while my middle daughter is occupied and my youngest girl is asleep and my Bubba is at school and all that jazz. See how much I can do. So let's get into it. I've got a couple. I finished the Polyrhythms hat by Jackofsky. And I have not woven in the ends, and it's been finished for a while. I'm supposed to be mailing this to my brother. I was supposed to mail it to him in January, and it was done in January. It will get there. Even if he still needs it in the north anyway, from what I hear. So yeah, this was a cool, quick, easy knit, even though I ripped it out and re-knit it a couple times. I'm not sure how it's going to fit him, but, you know, if it's not the best, then I'll just make him another one and try again. But it was sure fun to knit. I am loving doing color work. I am loving doing color work these days. So that's one finished object. What should I tell you about that? I used a palette. And I also used, I think, Rowaan Cashsoft DK. Yeah, and we should really talk about. I was halfway through the hat when I realized, man, these yarns, they are like severely different in gauge here. But I just kept knitting. It was like the third time I had knit this hat, and I actually got the palette specifically for this hat. So I had other Rowaan Cashsoft in similar colors, but they weren't giving me the punch that I needed. So I ordered palette specifically for the hat. So like after all that drama, I wasn't ripping again, you know, once I knit half the hat and realized, man, you know, this palette is a lot smaller than the Cashsoft. But like I said, if it doesn't fit right, then I'll just make them another one, and that'll be that. It's not a big deal. I like to knit, and I love knitting that hat, and I most likely will knit it again because it's got all these music symbols on it, and I'm part of a very musical family and musical myself and all that jazz, so it's not the last that I've seen of this pattern, I'm sure. The other thing that I finished knitting, so Pink Hair Girl and Kara Thompson of Knit All the Things podcast, they had me on that social media talking me into just doing a little bit a day of a log cabin blanket. And of course I got started doing a little bit and I haven't been able to put it down. So I've got one square, no ends woven in, two squares, no ends. How? No ends, no ends. So that's two finished objects, those two squares. So that is what I have done. And Lord have mercy, I guess we'll move on to what I'm working on. So what I'm working on is a lot. I realized that last podcast I was talking about whipping down in 2015, which I still have that in my heart. I'm still going to do that. As a matter of fact, we'll talk about that later. But I think after all that Christmas knitting and, you know, not knitting for myself and it being a new year and there's so many fresh new patterns out, I am really have had a case of startitis. No, is that right? No, I don't know what startitis is. What I mean is I've been starting all the things. Shout out Kara. Startitis, or whatever the term is for when you start a lot of things. I'm working on a lot right now. So I told you last episode that I was here for the Peacock Tam, and that was not a lie. I am here for the Peacock Tam. I have started knitting it in a ball of navy, Cascade 220 fingering weight. I think it's just navy. I don't even know if this has a name on it. It's navy. Yes. I love it when my camera does the right thing. I love it when I have the good lighting. And then some of this Knit Picks Chroma. I think it's in Rollerskate, but don't hold me to it. And so I have started, I did the whole bottom brim. It's a little rolly. And then I have some patterning, you know, going on. And the truth is that I should have been working on this a lot more, but I've been starting all the things, and so I haven't gotten very far. This past weekend, I went to New Mexico. I flew to New Mexico with my baby girl and middle girl, Olivia. There was a death in the family, so I flew to New Mexico. And just optimistically, it was just me and the two of them. And I was very optimistically thinking that, okay, I'll just take one project in case I, you know, can do a little something here and there. I did not touch the project. You know, of course, I'm fiddling with them, and Fiona's sitting in my seat on the airplane, so I wasn't knitting anything on the plane. And then once we got there, I didn't do anything but visit family and eat. So, yeah. Peacock Tam. I'll be working on it more, hopefully now, because it is a fun knit. Let's see, what else am I working on? Lord, I'm working on this geometric shawl from Vogue Knitting. If you caught my blog, you know I was enamored with Vogue, their Mosaic issue. And they have a Mosaic shawl pattern in there. Who's that by? No, it's a geometric Mosaic shawl. And I just happen to have all Mohair in my stash that I could work with. As a matter of fact, I had this Karabella silk mohair, and then I had a whole crazy bag of this Elan.com Silken Kid. So it was meant to be. I had like 2 balls of the Karabella, and there's like a zillion yards in this thing. And then I had about a zillion balls of this. So I was just like, I'm sure that I have enough to knit this geometric Mosaic shawl. So I gave it a whirl. I have ripped this thing. Number one, I've never knit with like just pure mohair before. At this point, I would not recommend it. But some of you guys, you're probably more skilled than me. I've ripped it out several times. The first time, I thought I was going to be fancy and knit it with my signature needles. When I tell you that I couldn't hardly move the project along on the needles, they were so grippy. I just had to literally rip it out, and I didn't even try and salvage the yarn because it was just a mess. So then I switched to my Knitpicks, you know, signature needles, you know, and so now they're more slippy and they're slipping over the cable just fine. But there's been a couple times that I've read the chart wrong, so then I had to go to the library and get my chart blown up. Had to rip it out, save the yarn that time, start over. So then this is as far as I got, and then I hit another snag where I just on this row, it was like the second time I had ripped out that row because I just forgot one little square at the beginning of the repeat. So like it just wasn't coming out right on pattern. So frustrating. But I want this shawl. So what else have I been making? Koolhaas is on the back burner, y'all. I do not. It's fine to knit, but like I said, I still don't have my mind right to switch the cables without a cable needle. And there's only so much cable needling. There's so many cables in the pattern that it's just like, Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, 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 Lord. You just want to be zipping along and you can't zip because you have to stick a needle in and out of it and all that. So anyhow, I was reviewing, I can't say last week's episode, but the previous episode, we'll say. And we got to talking about resolutions and whatnot. And so I posted a thread in the Ravelry group, and a lot of you guys had really awesome resolutions that I hadn't think of, but I probably need to hop on board of. Like some of you guys talked about updating your stash and your supplies and projects in Ravelry. I really, really need to do that. I hardly ever touch that spot, you know, and every now and then, maybe like once a year, once every 2 years, I'll get a whim to like, oh, you know what? I might, you know when it is, every year when I hit that Knitpicks sale or whatever, I'll get a whole bunch of yarn at one time and say, oh, I should, excuse me, y'all, I should input that into Ravelry, and maybe I might do it once a year or once every 2 years. That's how I end up putting things into Ravelry here and there. But I need to be more consistent. I need to be methodical. I would love to be able to just go onto there and actually use, like, have it be, don't get me wrong, Ravelry is already useful, but it could be so much more useful if I actually inputted my information and used it properly. So that was a great resolution, I thought. Let's see, who else? Several of you guys want to whip down with me, which I'll talk about in just a few minutes. And a lot of you guys are knitting 12 pairs of socks in a year. Now let me tell y'all, can we talk? I would love to knit 12 pairs of socks in a year, but probably over the whole course of my knitting career, sorry y'all, I have knit probably 1 pair of socks per year. And I've enjoyed it when I've done it. Well, no, the first time I did it, I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy it. I was trying to knit from the toe up, and then I was knitting from the cuff down. I was just knitting that thing all kind. You would have thought that I would be a professional sock knitter by the time I was done knitting that thing. But really all it was frustrated. However, when I went to go knit the second pair of socks, not the second sock, but the second pair, I had learned so many things. Like I knew that I, you know, could knit from the cuff down or the toe up at that point, because I had mastered both cast-ons. And then I had a feel for what kind of heel I liked. I liked doing the easy afterthought heel and just making that, you know, same toe shape in the heel or whatever. That was just super, super duper easy for me after much trial and error. Yes, much trial and error. But you know what? And now that I've knit those stockings for Christmas, I kind of would like to give cuff down with and the traditional heel turn and gusset and all that jazz a try again, you know, because I've done it several times now and I feel more comfortable with it, you know. I don't know, there's something about sock knitting when you're first doing it, at least for me, this is my experience. When I was first trying to knit a sock and I was doing it cuff down, even when I did it toe up, it felt so ambiguous. Like, is this gonna fit? Like, am I knitting this for my foot long enough? Is the cuff tall enough? You know, is this gonna be deep enough on the heel? How many stitches? Like, do I have to pick up a specific amount of stitches on this gusset on the edges? Because, you know, some people in their patterns, they name, oh, you pick up 2 or 3 here and there or whatever, you know. And so, like, you know, I'm kind of a rule follower sometimes. I don't know. Sometimes, you know, I get to following the rules. And, yeah, so it was just kind of like, I felt like, oh, am I doing it right the whole time I was knitting the sock, you know? I did not have the spirit of Meg Swanson on my shoulder. Side note, I say that because I bought a couple of DVDs. You know, I have some Elizabeth Zimmerman DVDs, but I got Meg Swanson's Spiral Yoke cardigan, and I was watching that, and I thought, this lady is bossing her knitting, honey. I mean, she just is not playing with it, you know. She's making it do what she wants it to do, you know. She's not timid or intimidated. She's just in there like a lion, you know. And that's how, like, it was refreshing and encouraging to me. Like, yes, do that, honey. Yes. So anyhow, side note over. So yes, knitting those socks, I did not have the spirit of Meg Swanson sitting on my shoulders saying, do it, girl, do it however you want to do it. You're the boss. I felt timid the whole time. Like, am I doing it right? How many stitches should I really pick up? Is this going to look wonky? Is it going to fit? Like, I had so many questions. It just wasn't enjoyable. But maybe, just maybe, since I've gotten some more knitting experience under my belt, maybe sock knitting can become my thing. But you know, I say all that to say more power to you guys who have the resolution to knit 12 pairs of socks this year. I hope that you guys crush it. Crush it. You can do it. So in the spirit of New Year's resolutions that we talked about last time, I thought, you know, it's nice to say that you want to be a knitting dynamo and get your knitting freak on. It's nice to say that you want to whip down and all that. But how are ye going to do so? So then I thought, okay, I will keep myself accountable. Number one, by consistently podcasting, which has not been the case. But I think that from now on, I'm going to pencil it in, because if you don't pencil it in, then I have learned already, all these other kinds of things will jump up and chomp up your time, you know? I mean, it's not like it hasn't been serious things. I told you I had to go away for a funeral, and people in my house have been sick again, and I had doctor's appointments and all kinds of jazz. Like, things have been going on in life. However, you know, you make a priority the things that you want, that you want to be a priority. Does that make sense? Like, you make time for the things that you want to make time for. I know that seems like a simple, stupid statement, but really it's true. You know, if you really want to do something, then you will juggle and erase and pencil in and, you know, print down and ink exactly when you can get that time in if it's a priority to you. So I want this to be a priority to me. I enjoy doing it. Like, I've been keeping up on social media, other, you know, social media platforms, you know, with some of y'all, and I just really enjoy it, you know. So, and there's not a lot that I get to do for myself, you know, these days. And so I'm going to hang on to this. I'm going to hang on. So I thought of 2 new segments in my show. Now, I'm still coming up with names for segments in my show. So these might need some work, especially when you hear one of them, because it's not quite right. But I thought that, and one of them doesn't even have much to do with my goals, but okay, I'm getting off track. Let me see. Okay. So, yes, I came up with some new segments. I've been brainstorming how to actually actively pursue my New Year's goals, and one of them is called "What You Swatching," in honor of the Fallen podcast. I would like to name one of my segments "What You Swatching" because I talked about all those books that I have, and a lot of them are pattern books and yeah, and that I'd like to actually start using and going through. And I actually even started, I told you I got that Mosaic knitting for Christmas. And so, oh, you are going to fall out there, aren't you? So, here I go again. Let's hope I don't have to lean off screen. So I have one swatch here from Mosaic Knitting. Yes, and in my case, the title of the segment is literal. It's going to be swatches. So I'm swatching Mosaic Knitting by Barbara G. Walker, because she's a G. Sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, man, I'm so glad you guys have stuck with me, because I really can be silly. I'm sorry, y'all. So yes, that's one swatch. And then I started swatching. Remember I told y'all I wanted to knit that motorcycle jacket. I got you all mixed up. So she's still on the needles. Look at that tubular cast on, y'all. Better work. So yeah, man, this is all tangled up. So I started swatching with this Voyage, Berroco Voyage, the Terra motorcycle jacket. Here's my swatch that's attached to my bag still, so that's why you can't see it properly. Man, this yarn is boingy and soft. I love it. Excuse me for... I realize in watching some of my old podcasts, I'm like scratching my eyeball, I'm scratching my nose, I'm messing with my hair. I'm just, ooh. I don't know how to mitigate all these tics that I apparently have, but I want to. So anyhow, yes, in honor of the now defunct podcast, one of my new segments will be called What You Swatching. Hey Emily, I saw that you subscribed to my Instagram and my Ravelry group, the Ravelry group. So hi girl. Hello. So yes, so What You Swatching is one of the new segments, and I'll be going over like I thought it would be a good segment to add to help me get into all of these pattern books and whatnot that I have, to use up some of my extra yarn, because I'm thinking once I'm done swatching, especially if I swatch all these mosaics in here, honey, I'll have me a blanket or something, right? So anyhow, but really essentially I don't know what I'll use the swatches for, but I'm sure that, I mean, this one essentially, the purpose of this was to learn how to knit mosaically. Boom. Now I know how to knit mosaics. One swatch. Plus swatches are fun and quick, and I get to show you that I have a little something finished, although it's not going to be my finished object. It'll be in this segment. And it teaches you new techniques, obvi. And yeah, it chomps down on some of this yarn stash that I have. I think I showed you guys a picture on Instagram of this big basket of acrylics or acrylic blends, or even I have some scraps up here, you know, from projects that I've done. I've got 2 big old tubs of scraps. Well, I guess not big old. They're from the dollar store, but they're bigger than big as my head, bigger than my head, you know, scraps and whatnot. I thought that would be a cool segment to add, and I hope that you guys will enjoy it. Another segment I thought that would help me along on my New Year's resolutions and goals is to have a whip it out. Title might need a little work, y'all. I'm taking suggestions. But mind you, in my head, when I thought of whip it out, I was thinking, whip it, baby. Whip it right. It is that Zap. Whip it all night. That song. That one. I was thinking of Whip It, Baby. And then I needed to whip these puppies out. But it might just sound a little derogatory, so maybe I need some suggestions. Title needs a little work. I'm optimistic that this will be a short-lived segment on the podcast. That I'll just get all these works in progresses whipped out. But I'm thinking that weekly, I can either pull up one of these bags and show you what was in it, and we'll talk about what's in the bag and, you know, what I was working on and, you know, how far I am along on it, whatever comes up, because anyway. So yeah, I figured that either in that segment I can whip out one of the bags of whips and tell you about it. and then that will be the WIP that I work on until it's finished. Or in subsequent weeks, after I've already, talked to you about the initial work in progress, then I'll just continue to let you know how it's going with that work in progress until it's actually done, and then we'll continue on that cycle. Does that make sense? Does that seem wordy? Because I don't want to put it in my, I'll probably put it in my finished objects area once they're finished, but while I'm progressively working on it or whatever, I kind of want to put it in the whip it out section. I don't know. I haven't thought it out So yeah, that is a new segment that I'd like to include on the podcast, is a whip it out segment, or whatever more appropriate title that we can come up together for the segment. And then also a shout outs and Thanksgiving section. And I'm not saying these are all the segments that I'll have, but this is what I'm thinking of now, because I tell you what, so I've got 3 episodes up, and there's almost 250 subscribers on the YouTube channel. Okay. Why do I feel like I'm going to cry every single episode I do? I almost cry when I was talking to Mama Grizzly. And, I almost cried when I was talking about Moonbeam Baby, because, she has her new baby or whatever. I need to get it together. I admit sometimes I can be a little misty, but good grief. I'm going to try and get it together for you guys. I can't be crying every podcast. But I will say, I am bursting with gratitude, and just happiness and humbleness, and I can't think of any other adjectives. My brain is like boo, 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 blowing up. But I just wanted to have a segment for shout outs and Thanksgiving, because I am so thankful for so many of you guys. Some of you all, I've been away from my 3 episodes. I've been away, and some of you guys have contacted me and said, you know what, I really like your podcast and I'm missing you, girl. When's the next episode coming? Nobody's been malicious at all. Although somebody did give me a thumbs down. Can we talk about the thumbs down? If you don't like the podcast, why do I have to get thumbs down? I don't understand. I don't ever thumbs down anybody, because it's just if I don't like it, moving on. Anyway, if I don't like it, I'm moving on. But color me crazy, color me confused, color me crazy, whatever. So anyhow, man, I am in Tangent City. There's just so much to tell you guys about. I've been away too long. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So shout outs on Thanksgiving, because there are so many of you guys that have reached out to me, that have just showed me that you cared. And I've only put up 3 little episodes. And it's just been so cool to be received into this community, and people to actually like the podcast. It's like I said, I think I said before, it's kind of a nerve-wracking thing to put yourself out there. It's bearing. You're bearing yourself, a little bit. And to have it received positively, that's kind of beyond awesome, which is an overdone word, but it is awesome. I am literally in awe over you guys, being cool with me and liking the podcast and watching and wanting to see more episodes. So it's an appropriate use of the word this time. I am awed by the response. I am awed by the kindness. I am awed by the community. So yeah, awesome. You guys are awesome. And so I want to have a segment where I can shout you guys out. Some people have shouted me out, and then sometimes I just get to laughing and having a good time with you guys on Instagram or in Ravelry or even on what is this called? YouTube. And I want to give you guys a shout out, or just say thank you. Thank you, for sending me that message on Ravelry, or thank you for saying such a nice thing on Instagram, or thank you just for saying, hey, I found a new podcast and this is the girl, go check her out. Thank you. So I want to have a segment where I can shout people back out. Oh, speaking of, okay, I'm about to fangirl, okay? Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Can we talk about Sarah Stevens? Like, straight up on my Instagram was like, I like your podcast, and I like your blog. I'm like, Sarah Stevens, you like mine, I like yours. Like, you're O-loops. Come on now. You're O-loops. So that was really cool that she like, I'm just gonna type you a message, you know. Let's see, what's the next segment? Oh yes, projects I'm here for. The projects that I'm here for were mostly all in that Vogue knitting winter edition. The girly knits, what was that? Chanel inspired 2-piece skirt set. Not that any of us can, well, some of us can, but a lot of us cannot wear it. But it was still just immaculately done, and like such attention to detail. I tell you what, I'm here for that, girl. You do it, Miss Girly Knits, Lauren. I could probably easier tell you all the couple little items that I was not here for in that issue, because I liked the cable turtleneck. I liked the Mosaic bomber jacket. I liked let's see, the Mosaic cowl. Obviously, I liked the Mosaic shawl. Let's see, Gabrielle sweater coat, CC cowl and muff by, oh yeah, Terry Rosenthal. Let's see, cloche with the plaid, braid, cable turtleneck, lace pullover, Lisa Silverman's textured pullover, short sleeve pullover, Mosaic cowl, Mosaic blanket, Mosaic bomber jacket, Mosaic shawl. Like all those designs, that's why I really like this issue. Like all of them gave me some form of life, breathe some type of breath into me. So I was here for all of that. You know what else I was here for too? The January issue of Knitpick's catalog. You know, they had that teal hooded pullover and with the color work. There were so many things, you know, hats and mittens and shawls and there were so many sweaters and so many things in that January issue. Again, I'd have to name like the 1 or 2 things that I'm like, I'm not really here for that. You know, I don't, you know, it's not my favorite, you know, although it's still okay. There were so many things in that edition of Knitpicks that I was just like, I got to have it. And so I go on the site. Don't y'all know that they have been out of that color palette? Because apparently I'm not the only one who was here for that issue of color work. And it does seem like color work is going around in the community, doesn't it? I know that the Stockinette Zombies, they are color working their faces off. It just seems, I don't know if it's one of those things, you know, that I have now drank the color work. Excuse me, y'all. I'm still not 100%. This thing, there's still just a little bit lingering. Like, oh. Do you have to let it linger? Sickness is still lingering. It won't go away. Anyway, I don't know if it's because I've drank the color work Kool-Aid, and now everywhere I look, I see color work, or if like color work is just booming right now, or maybe it's a mixture of the two. I don't know, but it seems like color work is that thing right now, and I'm loving it. So yeah, those are the things that I'm here for. I'm here for the winter edition of Vogue Knitting, and I'm here for the January issue of Knitpick. Me moving on. This has been so long-winded, and I still have a couple things to talk to y'all about, so I need to get to it. Let's talk about scrumptious add-ons. And I'm not sure if I like that title either. I'm going to need some help. So anyhow, so here's some scrumptious add-ons. And a lot of this is things that I never told you about from Christmas. And then other things is not. I never said I was on a diet, a yarn diet. I just said that I was going to be more controlled and get a handle on it. I never said I was cold turkeying. So anyway, I will start with some of the things that I got for Christmas. I got some Christmas yarns. And of course, I did not. I'm sorry, excuse me, y'all. So I got a couple of sweaters worth, just 2 sweaters, literally a couple, of yarn for Christmas. I got some of this Classic Elite Yarns, Majestic Tweed. You guys will not believe how good this feels. Or maybe you will. Maybe you know all about that. But it's 40% wool, 20% Angora, 20% silk, and 20% nylon. It is so soft. I mean, it really is. I haven't knit anything with it yet, but I have projects in mind, and I'm not going to get into all that yet because Lord knows when I'll actually get to knit, and I don't want to. And then I got some of this, I think it's pronounced Koolhaas from Valley Yarns. This is very soft too, and it's so squishy, like it just so squishy. Oh, and this is 50% merino and 50% tencel. I don't know why I'm smelling it, but yes, and it's in the rich purple colorway. Also a sweater's worth. I've already shown you my Barbara G. Walker Mosaic knitting book, which that was the other reason why I put on my blog that I loved that issue of Vogue so much, because they spotlighted Barbara Walker, and then they, you know, introduced patterns that were inspired by that spotlight or whatever. And so I read that article, and honey, I went running. Like, I got it for Christmas, and I'm going to use it ASAP. So I literally ran to my nook, my crafting nook, which is Chateau Natural here, and taught myself how to mosaic knit. Read this book immediately, you know, started doing swatches immediately. So yeah, like that's a good issue if you have to go running for resources to do it. And then also for Christmas I got a second treasury of knitting patterns. I already had the first one. Also by good old Barb. And then I also got Amy Herzog's Knit to Flatter. Because, you know, got some curves. Curvaceous. Put some curves in those knits. Curving on those knits. Curving on those knits. Sorry. Golly, y'all. Oh, yes. This is what the January issue of Knit Picks cover looks like. Now I'm throwing back. I'm sorry, you guys. But yes, almost everything in here. Y'all are not playing games. Like, I'd even knit those sachets, those bean bags, you know, to put in the drawers, and the pillows, and Knitpick said, y'all want color work? I'll give you color work. And then they proceeded to go in on the color work. So anyway, yes, back to what Christmas things. So I think that's all I received for Christmas were the books and the 2 sweaters worth of yarn. But I did receive some money, and with that money, I just bought little odds and ends, such as these Knitter's Pride Nova Cubics Platina knitting needles. I got a size 6 and a 40-inch just so it has versatility for me to do many things. In case I want to knit a hat, I could just magic loop it. If I, you know, need it for a sweater, I got 40 inches, you know, blah, blah, blah. Cardigan, blanket, pillow. Anyhow, I have options. Because I have some straights that are that square shape. And I really like the straights. They were lightweight and the shape of them actually gave me life. I wasn't expecting that. So I said, you know what? Let me try a little something extra. And if I really like them, I might get the whole set if they have a whole set available. Same pattern of thought with these. I have these Knitter's Pride marbles. I got them in the size 4, 40 inches. So I have many options of things that I can do with them. But I'm guessing they're just acrylic and whatnot. So, yeah. I figured I'm going to try these marbles and see how I like them. And then I already know that I like carbons. Not for everything, but, you know, for certain things I like the carbons. So I went ahead and got me some double. I haven't ever had the carbon double pointed needles. I'm kind of, I don't know if you guys know this about me yet, but I'm kind of a serial, needler. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, I have a crazy amount of needles. Like I've just got a crazy amount of different types of needles. I like to try them out. I don't know if that's a normal thing with most of us ladies who craft, or ladies and gentlemen who craft, but it certainly is a thing with me. I like needles, and I want to try them all, you know. So yeah. Oh, here's one of those square needles I was telling you about. Oh, it's like a little rose gold or something. Although it's not rose gold, but it looks like it. Anyhow. So yes. And then I don't seem to have them with me, but I swung into Tuesday morning and got myself 2 sets of those Chiaogoo needles that everybody is talking about. And that's actually what I have my Peacock Tam on. Although it's a 30 inch that I have the 30 inches that I have the needles that I have the Peacock Tam on. I don't know, y'all. So far I'm not a very big fan, and I'll tell you why. Because of this curve. It has like a curve built into the needle here or whatever. Lord, I was watching Knitting in Circles. It must have been a throwback episode or something, but Amy, I think she says, oh, I like them now, you know, you get to knitting with them and they warm up a little bit and they're pliable. I said, this lady, I said, Lord, Amy, you must have been knitting so fast your needles caught on fire, because mine are not warming up and they are not pliable. How fast you knitting, girl? Slip that in my Amazon account there. It's The Knowledgeable Knitter, and I've already started reading some of it. And you know what? The Knit Girls do such an incredible job reviewing all these books. But I'll still let you know what my opinion is when as I'm going through. But already I do love it. It is a wealth of information, tons of pictures, and even the writing is explained so thoroughly and like not confusing that I truly appreciate it. Like I have, now y'all don't send me any hate mail. I have that newer edition of the Principles of Knitting by, June Hyatt. And while it is a wealth of information, it is very, very encyclopedia-esque. And I don't know a lot of people who sit down and just read the encyclopedia on a whim. Now this right here, I want to work through it and read it on a whim. Not so much with the Principles of Knitting. Like, I will go there when I'm in a bind, which actually is quite frequently. Whatever. But I'm not just going to sit down with it and say, you know, I'm going to study this book. But this book I would certainly sit down and study. And it's just like the girls are talking about. It is a resource that I think every knitter could benefit from. Like, this is a great resource to have in your library. So anyhow, that's my initial review of the book. That it is a yes, and you want it in your library, And yeah, you want to be a knowledgeable knitter. You are this is appropriately titled. It is a wealth of information. Why can't I speak? Ugh, this thing is just, oh, it's lingering. Ugh. Anyway, yes, it's aptly titled, You Will Be a Knowledgeable Knitter. It is a wealth of information and knowledge in here. So yeah. Also, bought with Christmas money. I think that that's all I have to show you right now. I didn't do a very good job of organizing my thoughts on the table, like actually putting it out. Let's be moving on to the next segment, which is, what did I learn? It has been a busy few weeks because I have learned to mosaic knit, and I have, you know, knit the swatch. I'm also working on that one mosaic project, and I've knit another. I'm in the middle of knitting another swatch from the mosaic knitting book. I'd like to knit quite a few actually, so there's that. So I learned how to mosaic knit. The Vogue knitting winter issue had a little blurb and an overview, but I would say definitely get the book. And what's going on? I don't know if it's just me. I wonder if it has anything to do with it being Barbara Walker's method. Like, if you go on YouTube, I really had a hard time finding tutorials, mosaic knitting tutorials. Now, I found some slip stitch color work tutorials, which is, you know, but I feel like people were super careful about naming it mosaic knitting tutorials. And I wonder if there's like a trademark infringement type of thing going on or what. But yeah, it was kind of tough to actually find videos on YouTube of the mosaic knitting. So that's just a side note. I learned how to tubularly I learned the tubular cast on. So in that one issue of Knit Scene magazine that has the Tara motor jacket in it, they give you a couple little, you know, how-tos or whatever, but it's very brief. But I have a crafty class, and I believe it's called, again, what's up with my notes? I think it's called 30 bind-offs and cast-ons. 30 bind-offs, 30 cast-ons. Switch it, reverse it, whatever. But yes, it's a craft C class. And that child on there, she is knitting every which way on those cast-ons and bind-offs. And I particularly picked up the one where you cast on like you're gonna do the long tail, and then you also do it under the pointer finger as well. Lord, I felt like Lily Chin when I was casting on. I was just getting it in there, like, yes, I'm knitting. Good. So I would highly recommend that craftsy class, because it has all kinds of, obviously, 30 cast-ons and bind-offs. There's all kinds of things. It might be 20. Don't shoot the messenger, y'all, but check out Craftsy, and I'm sure that I'll have the correct thing at least in my show notes. But that was a good resource to learn how to cast on tubularly. It was wonderful talking to you guys again, and I hope to see you next Thursday. So yes, I won't necessarily record on Thursday, but my goal is to have an episode up on Thursdays. There is a little bit of information I forgot to tell you guys. So, all this time that I've been away, I've been trying to hook up with my sister. She lives in Germany. And they're like 6 hours, 6+ hours ahead of us. I think it's just 6 hours ahead of us. And don't mind you, me and my sister, we have talked, but we get on, you know, FaceTime and whatnot, and we get to talking, and then we're like, oh, let's go ahead and do the episode. And so that just has not been working out. But she's super stoked over all the new members that we have in the Ravelry group. And I keep telling, you know, I told you how I have that group text with my sister, my brother, and my husband. Well, I'm on that group text all the time talking about, oh, there's 230 people subbing to the YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. You know, isn't that awesome? I, you know, want to do something. So my sister, I'm going to step off to the side, right? It's a merino superwash yarn that's 340 yards. And it's a wool miser yarn. Wool miser. Lovely red. Something vibrant. Something sassy. Because she knows who I am. So she sent this wool miser yarn for me to give away. And I figured since there are so many people who are subbing to the YouTube channel, that I wanted to make it so that my YouTubers could have a chance to take this home with them. So, take this home with them? Like you guys came to my house, picked it up and got it? No. I have a chance to just win this. I'll send it to you. So yeah, she sent this lovely hank of 340 yards merino superwash wool miser yarn. In this beautiful red. This is true to color on the camera. Yes, do that. Maybe it's just a smidge. No, that's right. That's right. Okay. So, what I want you guys to do, if you would be so kind, you've already been so kind, if you continue to do so, is leave me a comment in the comment section of this here YouTube video. And in the comments, you can either comment on what you enjoy and like about the podcast, or some things I need to tighten up on in this podcast. I know I was whining about the one person who who thumbs down my video, but I can take a little criticism, constructive especially, because I do want to improve the channel, and learn new things. Like, I'm always up for learning something new. And already with this channel, it's been such a learning experience. So, so yes, leave me a comment. Letting me know what you either enjoy or what I can improve on. And I will still, I won't do it by whose comment I like the best. I will still do it by a random number generator. In the comments section, I'll just, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And then, and have it pick a number for me of, who commented. You know what I'm saying? Please be fair. Don't, don't rig the election. Don't pull a Fitz. I'm sorry on my scandal reference. Anyway, so yes, leave me a comment. Let me know what I could be doing better. Or let me know what you already enjoy and that I need to be doing more of or keeping consistent. And you'll have a chance to win this lovely wool miser yarn from my sister. I've just had such a great time doing this podcast, and I'd like to do more giveaways. So this is also going to be the part of the podcast where I ask anyone who would like to donate a prize to the podcast. I would greatly appreciate you, and you can shoot me a message on Ravelry. You can even do direct messages on Instagram now, or you can just shoot me an email at naturalneedler it's naturalneedler@gmail.com. I'm super excited because I just learned how to direct message on Instagram like a week ago, so I'm feeling all techie. So yes, leave your comments. I can't wait to read them and respond, and for us to have a little chatter. If you are someone who is interested in donating more prizes to the podcast, I would greatly appreciate it, because when we hit 100 members in the group, I'd like to do another giveaway. And we'll say that this is the 250 member or sub mark for the YouTube channel. And maybe I'll do another giveaway on the YouTube channel when we hit like 500. Yes, I'm claiming it. 500. We'll do another giveaway on YouTube. Anyway, all right, you guys, thanks for listening to my ramblings. Until I talk to you guys again next week, have a wonderful knit and have a wonderful week. Happy knitting. See you next week.